If I ask you what forms the basic unit of every organism's body, I'm sure you'll agree that it's cells. This seems obvious now. But how was this discovered? How were cells discovered? Who worked on cells to understand them so well? Let's answer these questions. For that, let's get back in time and begin with understanding the milestones in the history of cell studies. The time dates back to around 1665, when a legendary English scientist named Robert Hooke came up with an interesting concept. The era was ruled by newly invented instruments which can be related to the present-day microscopes. Robert Hooke, with a self-designed microscope, observed a thin slice of a tree cork. What did he observe? He found tiny structures clustered together. An image something like this. To him, these structures appeared empty from within and had prominent borders. Do they resemble any structure? At first glance, they resemble the honeycomb structure. But for Robert Hooke, these structures appeared like the small rooms in a monastery where the monks lived. With this in mind, he named these empty structures cells. Why cells? The literal meaning of the term cells was the empty rooms where monks or nuns lived. That is why he named these as cells. So he was the one to coin the term cells. Although his discovery was brilliant, do you think this much information is sufficient to study about life? The cells seen by him were like empty boxes. So what next if there is nothing inside the cell? There's a lot more. Let's move a bit forward in this timeline. Fascinated by glasses and lenses, a Dutch businessman made his own microscope. He was none other than Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Most commonly referred to as the father of microbiology, he came up with an outstanding model of a self-designed microscope which is believed to be better than many microscopes available today. The height of his fascination made him check even the dental scrapings under the microscope. Although it sounds weird, that is how he became the first person to observe live cells under a microscope. What do you think he must have observed in the dental scrapings? He observed numerous tiny bacteria, but he did not name them so. Instead, he addressed them as animalcules because for him they resembled animals. This is how progress was achieved in the history of cell studies. Robert Hooke observed the cells first and coined the term. Similarly, Anton van Leeuwenhoek observed live cells for the first time. However, this was about the history, how cells were discovered and how they appeared under the efficiently designed microscopes. But what if we wish to see the cells today under our microscopes? Well, there is an interesting procedure for this. Let's have a look at how cells can be seen under a microscope. Meet you in the next video with the interesting procedure of slide preparation.